is about my New Year wish for everyone as much as it is for myself. We've usually heard this term forget and forgive and move on, isn't it? And that's a very common phrase we've heard and we've lived by it. I have myself too. Usually we do that when we feel hurt, when we are sad or we are angry and something not so great happens in our life. And we're like, okay, let's forget and forgive whoever we think has hurt us and we move on. But this new year, uh, my wish for everyone and for myself is not to forget, not necessary to forgive either, but to remember. But the crux is how to remember. So this video is about how are we going to remember the discomforting experiences we had or the painful experiences we had through the year and how really makes a big difference. And I learned a lot of this from the discomfort that I am putting myself through as a choice in a work with a physical therapy trainer. So, me and my friend, because we are now dealing with menopause and issues with the body, we've started this class with an orthopedic surgeon, Dr. Louis George. And the more I learn in these classes, the more I realize there is hardly any difference between how we work with physical health and mental health. And the line is getting thinner and thinner for me. And it's very insightful when I work with my own body. So what we learned in the class is about how do we handle discomfort. Is what I learned is we chase the pain. We reach a point where yes, it hurts, and we are not pushing through the pain, but we are holding it at that point, gaining the strength there, and then releasing it. So the idea was not to fear the pain. Oh my God, this is going to hurt. Oh my God, I'm going to fall, which was a huge fear in us when we joined these classes because there are a lot of issues. We couldn't sit on the floor. The knees were aching, back is aching, shoulder is aching. And technically, like, oh, we are old. We can't do that. We can't do this. A long list of things we couldn't do. But it was very interesting that, and why didn't we do that? Because it would hurt and we didn't want to get hurt. Now, the same thing is what we do for emotional pain as well. Nobody wants to experience sadness. Nobody wants to experience anxiety. Nobody wants to get angry. We're all generally about how can we be happy, happy. But we've discussed several times that we are not chasing happiness, but we are working towards health. And health is about learning how to navigate these uncomfortable or discomforts or pains in our life, whether it is physical or emotional or intellectual, whether it's our thought at the thought level, thinking level, at our feeling level, or at our body level, which is could be sensory or in any of our joints. So basically, it's just pain. So how are we going to remember this pain is depends on how we look at pain. We are not running away from pain because it is normal that when there are unpredictabilities in our life, when we are forced to stretch out of our comfort zone, where when things go predictably and we plan something and it goes exactly like that, we want something from a relationship and it just happens exactly like that. How wonderful. Life is very comfortable. That's how we all ideally like it to be. But we all know well enough that that's not how things happen. So there will be unpredictabilities, and it is normal for our nervous system to think of any unpredictability as a threat, and it will be like, oops, what is this? This is not something I was prepared for. I don't know. So we will hit a little space of, oops, what do I do? We have to slow down at that point. If we look from a nervous system point of view, first it hits us and we have to sit there and decide which of our nervous system pathways are getting activated. Is it the sympathetic nervous system, which is the fight, flight, oh my God, let's fight this discomfort. I don't want this. I have to get rid of this. Or let me run away. Oh my God, escape, flight, response, or fight. Or it is fawning or feeding or any of those coping mechanisms where our body is also giving us too much energy. So, like heart rate increases, thinking that there is some kind of threat that we are perceiving. Now, this needn't be a real physical threat either, but if the sympathetic nervous system is activated, we are all high alert. Okay, this is unpredictable. Now, we need to gently move to and connect with our parasympathetic nervous system, which is rest and digest, where our body is also feeling regulated, and we know that, okay, I don't know what has just happened. This is unpredictable to me. This is not what I was expecting. Yes, I'm going through a discomfort. Now I have to sit with it and then gently move and go to my second layer, which my limbic system. Sit with the emotions that I'm feeling. Is it anxiety? Is it sadness? It is anger? Is it humiliation, embarrassment, jealousy? What is it? I need to sit with it so that I understand what are my feelings here. Is it shame? Is it blame? What is happening to me? Connect, not disconnect, not the fight flight. Connect with the emotions and figure out what is happening to me, understand, and then gently move to what am I thinking? What are each of these emotions associated to? So if I'm saying I feel angry because I think, what is my thought in that particular context? Now, if we have to go through this, it is not ideally supposed to take this much time, as much as time as I'm speaking here, because we are supposed to quickly sometimes respond, isn't it? So all of these need to happen instantly as soon as we feel the discomfort. Somebody says something and we were not expecting it, and we cannot really sit and okay, let me go to parasympathetic, and we don't have so much time, so we really need to quickly get to our thinking layer and think. So for this we need to have trained our nervous system when it goes to the fight, flight or freeze and stay there, to gently reconnect, right? But sometimes it doesn't happen. Sometimes we say something or we do something in a particular situation which was unpredictable, and then later when we come back home or when we sit with it, like, oh, so why did I say that? I should have done that. And all the wonderful things which we could have said and done comes after the damage has probably been already done, and we don't know what to do. And that's when it becomes like, oh, this is not okay, horrible things are happening in life, what can I do? And we start then remembering this particular event, which was unpredictable for us, as a bad memory. This is horrible. So this is what gets stored in our nervous system, and we just try to, okay, let's just forget about it. Now, how do we forget? We just push it inside and not really connect and sit with it and understand what happened. We don't want to do that because it is painful. So what I learned with how we work with our physical bodies, even those of us who are hitting the gym or we are walking or whatever little exercise that we are doing, we are all pushing the reaching to the boundary of which our bodies can move, holding and then releasing. We are working on strength and flexibility of our body, isn't it? Similarly, if we need to work on the strength and flexibility of our nervous system or the nerve muscles and what we call brain gym or different labels for all this, what do we need to do? We need to know how do we sit with this discomfort and remember these events which were painful. We are not denying the pain. We are not saying that, oh, it's okay, think positive. No, it's not about positive thinking and quickly trying to brush aside and looking at the brighter side, or, oh, just snap out of it. No, that's not what we are talking. We are trying to remember the event in a slow manner so that we can understand, did the pain start at the sensory layer of the nervous system? Did it start with, was it too much noise that caused this discomfort? We need to sit down and think, where did we disconnect? Where did we move to the fight, flight, freeze mode? And where were we not able to rest and digest with what was happening around and sit with it and figure out and feel the emotions, think the thoughts, and then respond from our thinking brain? Or did we just respond from our survival brain in a fight, flight mode? Or did we respond from a emotional brain out of frustration or anger or fear or whatever the emotion that we were going through? Or did we reach our thinking brain and respond from there? Now, we need to remember, how did we respond? And then, even if it didn't go well, even if we didn't respond the right way, even if somebody violated and we know it's not okay, how did we then come back to regulating, one, our body, sitting with the body. So if our heart rates increased, if our tummy started growling, or if our chest got constricted, what happened to the body? How did we regulate? What did we do? Remember that. That is how we are going to remember. This is how I reconnected. Instead of, oh my God, this happened to me, this happened to me. So we keep remembering only the pain. Then what happens? Our nervous system start developing protective layers because it's constantly trying to protect us from the pain because we don't want the pain. Now, why do we don't want the pain? Because we do not know how to repair, reconnect, rest, and move on from that. We do not know. And that's not what we are storing in our brains as memory because we are so much in a hurry to let's forget and forgive and move on. No, it's okay to not forget. It's okay to not forgive also. But how are we remembering? What happened? So let's put this in certain examples uh, for three different layers of discomforts from three different layers of our nervous system. For example, if I have to take examples from my own life, there is some drilling work going on in the flat upstairs, and it has been exceptionally loud because it goes on and for hours and hours, and there is some construction work happening beside, so there is sound from there. So for me, I knew this was a sensory overload, but still, that doesn't mean that it was only sensory and I could resolve it there because these sounds were completely not in my control. I cannot ask them to go and say, stop it because it is disturbing me. Not an option for me. So, what were my emotions? I was feeling angry, frustrated, irritable. I was getting a headache. So, there were bodily symptoms. And what was I thinking? I was thinking, oh, when is this going to end? I cannot escape. I want to escape this. This is irritating. So, when I realized that awareness that I'm spiraling through this, how did I reconnect? What did I do? Accept that yes, this is uncomfortable for me. Accept that no, I am not, I am unable to change what is happening around me. So what can I do? I have to figure out how do I reconnect and regulate and make it easier for me. Now I would only know what works best for me, right? And if I do not know what works best for me, I will need to ask for help from whoever I can trust. So here I had to close the windows. I started listening to music, closing the door, making sure that during that few hours that this sound is at the peak, started figuring out, okay, when are the break times that they take the workers go for their lunch break or coffee breaks, it stops. So then maybe I do my sessions at that time, I do the video recording at that time. So I had to figure out, get curious about what is happening in the situation, what is really bothering me. So then how else do I regulate my body was my focus at that point of time. This is sensory. So maybe I drink something which I really like, something hot. So basically take care of my body because this is too much. So maybe even I wear earphones and listen to music. So I will need to take care. These are the accommodations I will give myself and not forget and forgive my neighbor for the sound. No, that's not the point. I need to take care of myself. So what I remember of this uncomfortable period of of almost a week now with this sound is this is how I reconnected. So when I remember how I reconnected, next time this happens, I am not afraid. I am not going to a fight or flight. I know, okay, this is happening. I know what to do because I have remembered that. Now, let us look at something from an emotional brain where it is not entirely sensory. And probably I made a great plan with my friends, and maybe the friends cancelled it last minute. And I'm like, okay, this is it. I feel left out. This is not okay. I had made so much preparation. They did not turn up. How can they ditch me? So, if my feelings can be I feel unloved, I feel rejected, abandoned, cheated, all these emotions are coming and it is dysregulating me. So, what are my thoughts? What are my thinking levels here? Nobody loves me. That is it. Whatever plans I make, it will be horrible. If I'm going to remember this event as how my friends ditched me and how the plans that I make just went for a waste, then next time I'm planning an event, I will protect myself. I will fear and I will avoid planning that because I remember that, okay, this could happen, because that's what I'm storing. That's how I'm remembering. And that doesn't, so when we say forget and forgive, we are just trying to brush aside the discomfort it caused. No, when we say remember, we are remembering the discomfort it caused, but what we are more remembering is, so how did I resolve this? How did I reconnect with my friends? How did I figure out what really happened? Was this really about me? So did I go back and ask them what happened? So maybe something else came up. Did we talk about it? So how did we make up for it? What else did I do with all the food probably that I prepared? So sitting with it, and how did I make peace with it? Or did I completely ruin that relationship which were actually valuable for me? So remember, how did I reconnect? Was it through conversations? Or did I initially have to journal it? Did I text? Did I actually call in person? Or did we have a meet? Or did we shift it to another day? Or did we talk about it and discuss, okay, how did we repair? Or did we call somebody else to mediate this confusion? Or did I voice to them that I was unhappy? Or did I say that it's okay when it was actually not okay for me? What did I do? So, and how did I finally make peace? So that is what I'm going to remember. Then next time when I'm planning something, I will already have these conversations. I will get more and more confident because I am remembering how I overcome that. And I'm not remembering, oh my God, this happened. That is there, but this is also there. This is how we are going to remember. Now the discomfort can be at the thought level also. So then we start sitting with the thinking where we sit and think, well, am I really unloved? Do my friends really, they don't care for me? Actually, that's not true. They do care, because I recollect all the other how when we repaired, when we had this conversation, I remember, okay, no, this is, yes, this is one of the events, and this also has happened. So I bring into my memory all the other things, other memories that I have with these same friends as well. So the main objective here is being okay with the discomfort, but holding at the discomfort, not denying that there is pain or discomfort, but remembering that I can release as well. Now, this is what I learned with the physical body as well. So, for example, now what I'm doing is I'm still learning to squat. All the things I have forgotten, whatever our bodies could do. So now me and my friend are trying to squat. So for me it works because my friend is there with me with this exercise. I know that's what works with me. Another thing what works is where this doctor helps us break it down into really really small parts where it's possible for me. So the idea is not to push beyond what our bodies can take or what our emotional brain can take, and when we recollect and we remember, but to know, okay, if this is getting too much for me, when I revisit maybe a past childhood or any other memory, all the emotions are coming back. Our idea is not to push through the pain, no, but to know that, okay, this is uncomfortable. Now let me go reconnect and rest and digest there. Again we go back, we reconnect and say, okay, yes, this is uncomfortable. So we need to know how much to push ourselves to recollect a memory and remember, this is how we can reconnect with our bodies. Now, some of us are unable to do this alone. That is why we seek professional help, wherein it can be a guided exercise. So in a guided way, you address your emotions. And when you start triggering in a guided combined way, in a co-regulation manner, you can do that with your therapist or counselor or whoever you're working with. So the idea is that I hope in this year we will remember every unpredictabilities that happened in our life, everything that didn't go the way we expected. But how do we remember? We remember how did we reconnect and repair. That's what we are going to remember. We are not going to run away from the pain. We are going to face it and we're going to release it. We remember it, that yes, this happened, and we're not denying it as well. So that's my wish for everybody and also for myself. Thank you.